evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is offense rame kwa tlamothi wetso leina la me wa litse ka metlha le matsatsi go tswa mo province e leng gore go phirima go fitlhelela jaanong ke go tshwaretse thulaganyo e leng gore it's one of the most expensive shows around the country. I'm talking about talk show e leng gore motho wetse go fitlhelela jaanong re tlile go bua ka kgwele ya basadi mo Africa Borwa. Mare today I'm going with my co-host Tabiso from KZN with Nick all the way from Pretoria, and Cesar is just gonna be around the way, just in the middle there is one of our co-hosts from Gauteng. But now in the meantime, let's just go to Tabiso in KZN, one of our best commentators that we have around the country. Man, one can say. Tabiso, how are you, my man?
I'm good, Offense. I'm good. Thank you very much for having me. This exciting show. Looking forward to unpacking it with the rest of the guys as well. Yeah, we saw Metric 29. It was exciting.
Thanks, man. We're gonna go to Nick. The most interesting fact is that we have two Tabisos, but the other one is Nick. So, Nick, away from to say good evening to the viewers at home, man.
Good evening to the viewers at home. Welcome to the Holy Disky Queens review show. It's going to be an exciting season. We'll bring you all the news. We'll bring you all the excitement. We'll bring you all the stats. We'll give you all the controversies, the debates surrounding women's football in South Africa. Back to the offense.
Thanks, man. By the way, we're going to look at the highlights of what happened over the weekend. There were several teams that played. Durban ladies up against some of those University of First Touch ladies. But now we're just gonna go to the highlights of over the weekend, and we're just gonna have a few discussion with the gents on the screen. It's one of those shows, man, and I'm also a sports commentator commentating this league. It's one of those leagues, that are it's really just gonna be close. The playoffs are currently the the playoffs of Sasol are already taking place in the Western Cape, but for now, we're just gonna go into the highlights. Tabiso, what's any view in terms of the result of the weekend?
Yeah, Offense, like I mentioned before, exciting match we just saw. A lot of goals scored as well. One thing about this league is that, amagoli ayangena la. Abantu they are able to find back of the net. You look at TUT winning 3-2 against Raleigh M. In the first fixture, it was Raleigh M who won by 3 goals to 1. And I think for me, that was a good fixture up in Pretoria. But also looking at TS Galaxy, who have really shown that they do have the potential of dominating and challenging the likes of Mamelodi Sundowns and UWC, again collecting goals against a very weak side this season that was just not able to perform to their level best, conceding as many as 128 goals this season and not winning even a single match, already relegated. But I was down in Durban. I saw that 1-1 draw between Durban Ladies. Again, another good, exciting match, but it was just a game of two halves. Cause and Nakaza finding the back of the net though for those two teams.
A good review, man. Good review in terms of looking at that those results. Nick, Aria, any match that was interesting for you when you take a look at those fixtures that happened over the weekend? Nick, Nick, can you hear me?
I think, yeah, I can hear you. I think the impressive match I saw for me, which also at the other end, it's a bit disappointing to see JVW being in the position they're in on the log with all the quality they have on the field. I mean, taking away the 3 points again. They've been very consistent lately towards the tail end of the season. They've shown that they can beat anybody. at any day, whether they're playing away or they're playing at home. They won a whole lot of their games at playing away, and they've dropped a lot of points at home, which is really a bit irresponsible for the ladies. I mean, for them to be able to have a solid season, they need to be making sure that they at least get a point at home each and every game they play there. Because we know they are very good playing away at home. They have the confidence and they have the experience in the team to be able to manage the nerves, even manage the fact that they're also playing against the 12th men when they're away. I'm really, really, really impressed with the ladies and being able to take those points away from teams even when they're playing away. It shows that they have real quality in their side and they have a confidence about themselves. They just need to get more consistent during the season and those points as well at home. Back to you, offense.
Thanks, man. Here is the result that happened on Saturday, 12 2024. Hollywood Bets Super League is one of those allies league in South Africa, and we just really want to focus and and actually go down into the action. But you can see Royal AM there; they were betting and on our way from with TUT, making sure that they become victorious. University of Pretoria, they're beaten by down 3-0. City Let, not City Let. I'm talking about University Devon Ladies drew 1-1 with University of Fort Hare, and then Copper Belts were beaten there. JVW on an away match, and 4-1 goes to City of Western Cape, beating Linda Ladies bottom, and UJ they were victorious, beating down Richmond 2-0. One of those exciting match, 2-1 against City Let, just there in the relegation. But Tabiso, coming to you, any interesting facts that you know about these fixtures that happened over the weekend, man?
Yeah, it was a fight in the relegation zone. Lindelani ladies, for me, they still had an opportunity of trying to see themselves away from that relegation zone. But I think that defeat against a very tough UWC side just really it sees Lindelani ladies now with no chance of fighting to stay in the Hollywood Bet Super League. And then it goes back to the fight to get into the top eight between the likes of Royal AM, University of Pretoria, University of Fort Hare as well. That University scored first against Devon Ladies, and when they scored, that automatically put them in seventh position. But then they allowed Devon Ladies to come back in that game, and that draw just saw them drop back to ninth position on the log standings. But Raleigh M losing, they are still in the top eight. They are number 8 on the log, but then they are allowing the likes of University of Fort Hare and Richmond Ladies to still have a chance in terms of dethroning them in that 8th position. Yeah, I think it was just a fight in match week 29 of trying to find your position in the log standings. And I think it was a good fight between all teams. We saw in the Lani ladies as struggling as they have been during or throughout the season, but they did manage to find that score that goal against UWC, and it really shows that they've got the potential, but they need to work a little bit more in terms of the depth of their depth, as well as work on the maturity of the players. Bring in a lot of experienced players to assist. We saw from the Devon ladies side, some of the experienced and matured players really did help Devon ladies who were also trying to run away from the relegation zone.
Thanks, man, for that deep analysis. I know you were part of that University of Fort Hare playing against Devon Ladies, which resulted in it was a match because we know Devon Ladies, they need all the points that they can get. But before that, let's introduce Kleza, because I know Kleza is on the call right present moment. But before we introduce Cesar, Nick, all the way from Pretoria, man, I know very well that you are very fond of Mamelodi Sundown ladies. You are a Pretorian as we speak at this moment. So definitely you have something to say about the are they, are they really going to be champions, or will University of Western Cape catch up, or you just it's a done deal for them?
I'm sorry. I think I was mute there. Am I back with you guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're back, Nick. You're
So
back.
okay, okay. So I feel it's going to be very beneficial for women's football if a different team this season wins the trophy. Even though it's very much unlikely, I don't think Sundowns are going to lose any of the remainder of the fixtures. I mean, if they happen to maybe draw one and lose the other game, and UWC happens to win all the games that are left on their fixture, then there's a really good chance that they might pull an upset, which would be great. I mean, for women's football as a whole. But I mean, just to comment on Sundowns and the amount of quality experience they've shown throughout the season, showing everybody that this is not 100-meter dash. Again, this is not 100-meter dash. This is a marathon. You're going to be playing 30 games. You need depth in order for you to stay consistent through for the whole season. You need players who are going to be as much quality on the bench and on the field. Whenever you need to call on your bench, you need the same quality. You don't have any room for error, especially when you're looking at um, consistency and the lack thereof of other teams who maybe have had injuries or have had international collapse and they wouldn't make it for games. Those little drops you have of points in between the season, they really tend to cost you when you look at the season overall at the end of it. Back to your fans.
And just to add, because I know the Mamelodi Sundown ladies, they let go of Mukari into the transfer season, where he went abroad and play for another team. But those are just some of the interesting facts about Mamelodi Sundown ladies. Jerry Chabalala, he also won an award there. But before we go anywhere into the highlights of the weekend, let's get back. Ezra, my brother, how are you? Can you say, can you, Babalisa, not Babalisa, man. Can you say hi to the viewers at home, man?
Let me start by greeting all the viewers at home and greet my lovely compatriots. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on this immaculate, fantastic, quite an interesting one. When you get to look at, of course, all that has been nullified, that has been most certainly broken down in the sense of how the league is right now and the league things and the teams that are sitting on top and on the bottom and in the middle. But not only that, I'm saying I'm greeting my lovely compatriots. I'm greeting Philip Tinya, Abongile Tom, as well as, of course, Hlongwane, not forgetting Ace Ngobo as well. Watching this immaculate show.
Thanks, my brother. We're just gonna take a look at the highlights of the weekend. I know City Leds
Back to
were
you,
up
Open.
against. Yes, man. I know City Leds were up against such ladies, and Durban ladies were up against University of Fort Hare, where Copperheads were up against JVW Jenny van Wyk ladies team in Johannesburg. So we're just gonna take a look at, gentlemen, just sit back and relax, and then just check the highlights. After the highlights, we're just going to discuss into the analysis of how those ladies score those fantastic goals. While we're waiting for the highlights, Tabiso, can you take us into the Devon Ladies University of University University of what? Okay, let me just wait for the highlights. They are coming in at this present moment. We're just gonna play the highlights.
Jaka obabola tlebutu wetso jaka batsena nna ke le ka kwano tlebutu wetso ke ile go tsela gompieno nna ke le ka kwano tlebutu wetso offense ramme kwa ke tswa go provinceng e leng gore ke ya go bokone bophirima ke le ne ga yo tlebutu wetso Zita Biane o mo benching tsatsing la gompieno lebella jalo referee a ba thankgologa motshameki gore o thome tsatsing la gompieno solo fela jalo gore le wena o le ko lapeng o siame ke se ke dumeditsitse a re lebella Rasitlo Nyandene football simple football the basics ki bua jalo ka ene Nyandene a ba etsa gape retologa a ka raga bona go di boga dikota jalo ke motho wetso ka motsamai ke tlile the combination ya le kharebele ke ene the tick taka khole kotsi a isa fela go di boga dikota a re bone jano Fiona no manyane a ba se sega bontle no manyane bona ba tlile go thula bona ba etsa ba korle ya kotsi tlhopa sa JVW kalotso jalo la ga Amanda a ba ithuma jaanong Amanda a tsa kgweleo a itsenya jalo mo tsenya ga tsana go letse le gale ka job a ilo ipatlela tsone a ba itsenya jalo ka passage mo go bongiwe thusi a re bone jaanong Nyandeni bona kgwele kotsi e thula kota e bona mo motshameko bongiwe ba sireletsa gape go morago bandawe Setsegola modimo le na le bone they should be thankful What atlam to wetso ka mtsabe ketlileng 1-2 touch football bongiwe a ithuba tele di ga bona sepe go fitela fela fo le gale ka lesego a ilwanela gape bongiwe ya nda tsikhutlho should have scored Tumelo khaola motsamo go tlhelele jaanong tsama mtseleng la ga Nyandene lebeletse ka kwano a re Mponzi a re bone jaanong kgwele kotsi Ewa ke gora kere Opa Isho Batsa kwele Ntimande I rotate jalo bobokosong 16 yards Teketse Bora tlabutu weto Kana kene Amanda I koma sentle I kupa Kiabetu Sefako Le bota la KC La bomme ba le babedi Kiabetu Sefako abakoba Abarubala Casey Gordon go fitlhella jaanong o momile nakana ya gagwe mme Meokari a ba fetsa jalo motshameko wa tsatsi la gompieno a fetsa gore go fitlhella jaanong tsatsi la Saterdag tsotlhe tselo
Gents, you saw what Copper Belts they're up against a mountain. Can we just briefly discuss? I'm gonna start with Tabiso because I know you are far away from the center, so KZN is a little bit far away. Technology is just moving up and down. But anyway, the first goal for JVW, man, can we discuss that the goal, how it comes, and then in terms of defense from the Copper Bells, they could have done better. I know.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Offensive, the Copper Belt defense could have done better there, but I think JVW, of course, we're expecting them to score, and they are gelling very well in the midfield. They're able to move the ball about very nicely, and yeah, I think the Copper Belt defense could have done better. You can see that JVW had a good start to the game. They were really testing the goalkeeper, and the goal was coming. Copper Belt did have chances, but the JVW defense was good at the back, and they were able to get those away in the midfield, controlling, linking up with her forwards up front. The goal was beckoning, and it come is scored by the unlikeliest of sources in Rasek. Not a lot of goals this season, but yeah, this is another chance that they score that goal. That JVW, unfortunately, not as lethal as we expected them to be. As we did say that they've got a lot of good players, but in this game they should have won by a lot of us enough to see them get the 3 points.
Thanks, man. Nick, I know definitely JVW has been disappointing in terms of getting those 3 points where it mattered the most. But looking at this match, they did try their level best, to come up with a win against a very tough opponent at home, Copper Belts. What's your view on this game, man? The Copper Belts and the JVW.
Copper Belt is a very, I guess, also one of those sides that have really disappointed this season. Just to try and be brief, as in this particular game, their defense seemed solid until that last second, but they were leaking throughout. You saw with just this highlight that we're looking at right now. I mean, there's an offside trap. There's a structure that has been set up by the defense. The guy, the lady who's playing there in the middle in centre back isn't communicating very well, it looks like, with the rest of the defense because if you're setting up an offside trap, everybody must be in line, and they were caught napping there. You can tell that the player that was actually making it possible, that was playing the JVW player, was lazy walking back from a offside trap position where he should have like just moved right along with the rest of the defenders. But I look forward to next season. I'm seeing JBW improving every season, and them being able to take away these points playing away is really impressive.
I think one point that I like to mention here is that they are key players. They were not even there. The likes of Kellen Swart in and goalkeeping department. We know Casey Gordon had a little bit of a sniff in terms of the goalpost. And but anyway, moving along with Cesar. Cesar, is ball possession playing a crucial role in women's football at this present moment? Because I know sometimes it really delay the goals and the formation. Do you really think the ladies soccer now is developing in terms of that position? Are we going to hold them into position? Try to score as much as we can. If you can give me that view, and then we go into another highlight.
When you get into the final third, you need to have creativity, composure, and being able to convert and put the ball into the back of the net. At times, it takes a couple of games and training sessions to then most certainly be able to maneuver something of a different aspect. But not only that, I'm looking at the rest defense, of course, of Copper, how they most certainly in the nick of things in terms of the bearer that they should have done. But for me, in terms of game management, rotation of the ball, rotating of the ball, tells you of a different perspective view because now once you get the sequence of the ball rotation right, if you are a ball orientated team, it becomes much more simple in the sense of getting in the half spaces, in and in between that last line of defense, and making sure that you can unlock the defense. And once you unlock that defense, you unsettle them. But the rest, the low block, at times it doesn't play a significant role. So that's how they managed to get punished there.
Thanks, my brother. Just a lovely view. We get into the highlights of Debenese up against University of Hot Hair from all the way from Eastern Cape. I believe Tabiso, they are all the way from Eastern Cape, ne? Or is it? Yeah, we're gonna play the highlights. We're gonna play the highlights. Our commentator at home, Tabiso, had that one covered, man.
South Africa under 15 winning against Angola in we see the two teams here at the Kings Olitini Stadium on the field of play. Just the pre-match for hoping to climb up on the log standings. There's a confirmation of the playing in the upcoming friendly matches against Denmark and England. All the best. We get underway here at the Kings Olitini Stadium. It is the visitors, the University of Fort Hare, who get to see Devon Ladies trying to draw first blood in this game. Beautiful through pass.
And the flag goes up. To add to the 6 goals that she scored already this season. As we look at that offside call. Baby Wolves moving forward. Hendricks back on the inside. She still has possession. And it's Keisha Hendricks who shoots! Still alive for UFH and into the back of the net. Keisha Hendricks with the shot, and Nelisiwe Mira, well, she did her best to keep it out, but it just fell back into play for Nosiko Makaza, given the nod to start the game to start this game, and Dungan Jamini, the centre back pairings for this game. Well, that ball is kept in play. Big opportunity here for Durban Ladies! Into the back of the net! They have found a way back into this game. In 25 matches, she's got Baloyi to worry about. Koza, excellent. Koza goes down, and that is the final whistle here at the Kings Wellington Stadium.
Tabiso, when I take a look at that match, I think it was one of those most exciting match that you ever witnessed and come in, because I really hear that you did enjoy, and I know you are a homeboy for Devon Ladies, so you're actually trying to be biased there. Maybe just in the middle of in the end, the penalty, the referee not giving the penalty away, it was mostly disappointing. But man, take us to the match, man, and where you see all those highlights, reflecting on that previous day. Take us to the highlights, man.
Yeah, I think it was an exciting match. Both teams had a really good start. University of Fort Hare, of course, they really did try to dictate and dominate against Durban Ladies, and we started to see it after, well, in the 15 minutes of the game, and that is when the goal came as well. Some coaches, they really like to see their team getting a goal inside the first 15 minutes, and I think that was the plan for University of Fort Hare. Sorry. But then for me, I think after scoring that goal, there was no plan B as to what do we do after the goal. Really allowed Durban Ladies to to find a way back in the game. Marcus are scoring first for University of Fort Hare. But for me, onside calls in this game, and it's not the refs, Sheza, who got those calls wrong. It's the players who were failing to delay their runs to make their corner. I really think, looking at this clip, the coaches have got to work on this. Both two teams were failing up front to beat the offside traps or to make diagonal runs, delay their runs a little bit. Sometimes defenders as well holding on to the ball, and you find the striker who's already in an advanced position, waiting for the ball side position. But yeah, very unfortunate here for Nelisiwe Mira, who paired the ball back into play, and Nosiko Makaza was there to finish.
I think I still do believe that Mira the Nelisiwe is one of those goalkeepers that she's full of butterfly hands, but she tried her level best just to parry that ball into the outside, maybe just causing a corner, but finding a striker there, it's more like an eagle waiting to catch that little chicken there. But again, Nick from Pretoria, the mistake at terms of that goal by Devon, as a coach, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, like the mistake that happened. Yeah.
We saw a weekend of complacent defenders, really lazy defending. In those positions in the final third, when you are your final line of defense, you have to be assertive. You have to make a decision in 0.1 second. It's all about decision making in those positions. You make the wrong decisions, you get punished. I think it was really lazy, but well done to Devon ladies to pull one back there. But it was really irresponsible from University of Water. I think really what really gonna kill these middle table sides, what separates them from the top sides in the league is those little mistakes. It's a league of small details, and if you don't tighten up there at the back and making sure you don't concede as much. I mean, we saw them earlier in the season doing well against Mamelodi Sundowns and almost being able to hold them to an all out draw, an all zero draw, and now being able to still defend but making those small mistakes on the side is really gonna mess them up. Um, so well done again to them and ladies for pulling one back. But yeah, what a loss to University of Tech, because they could, those are the small differences that could really elevate them to the top of the log.
Hleza, when I look at this game, I think about your analysis in the football, and one, you can allude many things that went wrong in terms of that game. Take us, the games and then bring us into this Disky Queens talk show about this kind of goals that they score, and then what kind of defending that doesn't really need any nonsense at the back, because they could have just take the ball and then pass it to the outside for a corner, and then they can just organize. Can you really take us to those little moments? Because they make a whole difference of goals.
First of all, disjointed. And once we say you are disjointed at the back, your ability of thinking, it becomes a little bit obnoxious, mainly because now the counter press and the high press of the opposition pinning you back in your own half, which then becomes a little bit unorthodox in terms of the trigonometry, the diamond shapes, because now we play in a sequence and a pattern of not allowing the team to build from the back. What was phenomenal about this was that they lured them in thinking that they can be able to build from the back. And once you build slow from the back, you need to be quite obvious in terms of how you build from the back. But for me, they were disjointed. They dilly-dallied about the ball. They put themselves under immense pressure. And when you have individuals that can nick the ball away in crucial and vital areas of the pitch, which are promising areas in the final third, guess what? When you also have players who have the creativity and the presence of mind to then play the ball much more faster, then the team won't be able to then function beautifully well. When we talk about composure, it's a striker's finish in the sense of getting that ball into the back of the net. Yes, the goalkeeper tried to put it away, but because of the composure, because of the inagility and inability of how the striker positioned the body, look at how she opens up and she makes sure that she can be able to connect so sweetly. That is a phenomenal. But poor defenders as well in the way they tried to get out from the back. But the counter press for me, exceptional. And that's what you want. The tactic being implemented.
Thank you, my brother. I think we're gonna go into the last highlights. First is versus Citylet scraping at the back. Before we go into the last show, I'm talking about the fixtures that are gonna happen over the weekend. For now, we're gonna go into the highlights of First Class Ladies versus Citylet. From
Citylet 3 to 4 games remaining. Lebella Jalo di captain Tlamotueto on the 4th position. The most interesting factor ka motshameko Tlamotueto ke ke gore ditlhopha di le pedi re lebetse jalo tlhopha sa aphelele bona ba koba sega jalo mo boxo ba thula ka tlhogo le ga lepolore a ba le mo tlase ga yona e tshwere sentle safe hands polore recycle bona kgwele kotsi batla a ba tswa mo dikoteng 60 yards a dira tshireletso lebelela tlhamotsoetso Anastasia na kobile kgweleo batla otlhe ladies from Limpopo super strikers from Mpumalanga a re bone jaanong kgwele kotsi bona tlhamotsoetso Janem Disi eba ke gore a kere apa mene tekese Janem Disi a tsaya kgwele a leba kota ko kgakala Mbaka a iphitlhela a tshwere dintsi do or die a re bone jaanong Otwa ebe ke gore a kere apa Otwa jesi number 30 go fitlhelela jaanong ke tsaya dipensele tsaka ke tsaya diporogwana tsaka ke re Otwa ga ba sireletsa pharakano fa pele ga gage a ba raga kgwele kotsi bona ba dira tshireletso tlapa kgwelentle bona mabina e tsholwa mabina e tsholwa jesi number 3 ebe ke gore a kere save after save ya Mbaka lebelela tlhamotsoetso save after save double save defenders nowhere to be found Palesa ba ska iphitlhelela ba ipa mo tlase ga kgatelelo e le gore tlhokagale Rea Molima a ba fetsa jalo karolo ya bobedi ya motshameko a netefatsa gore tlhopha se e leng gore
Nice highlights, nice football, a great goal scored, mistakes at the back. We have been talking about this and those mistakes that are very crucial. It's just 3 games remaining at the log. And Tabiso, I'm gonna go with you again first on this one. The goalkeeping department there, Mkaba, obviously dropping the ball in so for doing it very well, dropping it into the strikers. He did try to do a double save. As a coach, in your mind, what do you say to the goalkeeper or what do you say to the defenders, man?
It's about trying to pull them back into. You can expect mistakes as a coach. Mistakes will always happen in the game of football, but it's about trying to pull them back mentally into the game so that they stay concentrated and avoid making some more mistakes. But as well as during training, you need to prepare players for such situations. They are going to happen, and try to work on avoiding these situations, and I think, yeah, otherwise it was a good match between these two sides. Beautiful between these two sides. Yeah, I think it was a great game. But sometimes a game, you can win a game with the goalkeepers, and not just in terms of them protecting goals, but also how they are able to view the game. And how they are able to come off the line and sweep the ball away. That sometimes your goalkeepers can view the game, but yeah, I think the coaches need to have a really long talk with the goalkeepers.
Well, for me, it's also
Thanks for that great view. I'm also looking in terms of the second goal from the second goal from City led, trying to recover because Eastern Cape it's far away. In terms of psychological, Tabiso, Nick, in terms of preparing your players in those long travels, what can you really say about that? I mean, they are traveling from Eastern Cape into the other side, Limpopo, which is hot. The conditions are not favorable for them. So, what do you really have to say about that? Of like preparing them, their mind psychologically, and yeah, Nick.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's first the defenders with the other games. Now we're looking at Onana. We're looking at Onana. It's really a mess there at the back. I mean, they're really gonna have to work hard at making sure that they at least try to have clean sheets on the road. Try and fight for a point at least, man. And I feel like a lot of these sides that are fighting for relegation, if they would have maybe opted to maybe fight and choose their battles more wisely, they'd be okay with taking a point away from home. Try and defend, hold tight at the back, fight for that clean sheet, and make sure that even though you don't score, you take a point home, and you're able to be consistent in doing that. And when you go back home, then you can fight for the maximum. But they need to really. This is something we've been talking about. They need to really choose their battles. They need to look at the whole league. They need to be strategic about it, and see where they can take a point away or fight for those maximum points, which are 3 points. But yeah, back to you, Benson.
Thanks. I'm going to pose this question again to Clezer in terms of these players traveling a long way away from home. And I know this plays a very critical role in players when they travel a lot. But I think Nick alluded some of the points which are very, very key in winning games like this, that you need to choose your battle very wisely. You are away from home. You don't need silly defending at the back. But in terms of that, the mind psychological, how do you prepare your players, Cesar, in terms of this? You are from Eastern, coming into Limpopo, which is far away from home, and then you have to fight for 3 points, which you nearly got a point away from home. And then what's your thought on that, Cesar?
Climatizing to conditions, it's something, yeah, climatizing to conditions, it's something of a different stature. But in terms of the coaches, they need to instill the right type of mindset into the players. The mental capacity needs to be at another perspective. That it's only going to be a case of how conducive enough is the player's mindset, climatizing to the conditions as well. Going back, to the era that the goalkeeper said, for me, you dominate your area, you dominate your 18-yard area. And once a goalkeeper is not able to lead and take charge of his 6-yard area, or even palm the ball away from the danger zone rather than it back into the danger zone, it becomes super difficult for the reaction and the anticipation and the awareness of the players around retail that they do possess. But for me, you need to dominate your 6 yards as a goalkeeper. And if you aren't do that, it becomes super, super difficult a team to function, because once you have a confident goalkeeper, you have a center back. And if you have two backs who are confident, you have an understanding between the two. The full backs will play a significant role in terms of the overlapping runs and the coming back and defending. The midfield will be congested and compact so that you out wide. And each and everyone in their, of course, respective positions will play a significant role. But for me, there, the goalkeeper should dominate his 6-yard area. But in terms of the conditions, climate is what, of course, the coach needs to most certainly obnoxiously do in instilling mindset, the mental capacity, that does, and let's say never die attitude, because there will be times where you play under immense conditions, and it's raining at times and the surface is slippery. You need to most certainly be able to tap into a different complex on maintain the heat, and that's where now you take your training sessions for the right stature, in that you break down your training sessions when it's cold, when it's hot, when it's overheating, so that you can be able to then know, because you have games where you play under immense spectators, which the environment is hostile, orthodox, and the atmosphere is super different. Going back to your derbies, back of course to countries that are able to intimidate you. Look at Bafana Bafana yesterday. I know we're speaking about ladies, well, but Banyana Banyana also, they too have played under immense conducive conditions. So for that, for me, it should be of another different perspective. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Cesar, for pointing out, those factors that really affect players' mentality and psychologically when coming in the type of games. It was one, but we're gonna have to look at the log standing, and it's not looking good for Thunderbirds. They are already out, and then it's Lindelani at the bottom, second from bottom. City Lads, they're gonna be playing against. We're gonna mention that in a few minutes, and then Devon Ladies are gonna be playing against Western Cape. Can you? Tabiso, can you really look at the league and then hope something happens for Devon Ladies? Because I know they are a home team. So the next match for Devon Ladies is very interesting. But you're gonna take a look at that maybe next week, not now. We're gonna be looking at the games that are really gonna happen this coming week, the 9th. Yeah. So in the log, which team is gonna be relegated? If in simple terms, which team is gonna be relegated? Tabiso.
For me, it underpaid. I think everyone can see they are already gone. Lindelani Ladies also, with the results that they got this past weekend, defeated by UWC 4-1, and you can see the damage that did to their goal difference as well. I don't really see them. I don't really see them coming back from this, because if you look at City Lads that still has 3 games in hand, and I think they'll be able to get a point from that, from those 3 games. But looking at Devon Ladies, Devon Ladies side, I think they are quite safe. They are safe from relegation, because to look at them and then look at Lindelani Ladies separated by the number of points they are on now. Going into the last game, if Lindelani Ladies win the last game, they'll be on 19 points, and Devon Ladies already on 25. So it definitely means that Devon Ladies are safe. Well, at least from KZN, there's going to be one team that is going to survive. Very unfortunate for Lindelani Ladies that I don't see them coming back from this.
Thanks, man. Nick, your view on the lock in the middle or in the bottom? Which one are you gonna choose? The bottom or the middle? The very interesting one is number 2
bottom,
and number 3.
The bottom is done and dusted, my man. The bottom is done and dusted. They left it until late. We not singeke sikhipha amakhe omncwabo. Sikhulume ngabo futhi sokungcwatshiwe kuqediwe sokushota nje sifake i-tombstone lapho ku-Devon Ladies. There's no talking about them anymore. Who ferile nyara mo. I think at the top there's still a chance. I feel like this is gonna be remember, if I could compare it to the Manchester City versus Manchester United, final match of the season win leg, with Aguero scoring in like the final seconds. Literally, there was 3 seconds left in the game, and Aguero did what he did, and his name will be written in history forever. And we wish for those kind of dramatic moments in female football. We haven't had such yet. You know what I mean? A betting man, they're making it very easy for a betting to just bet for Sundowns at the beginning of the season. But I hope that this season we get a change of a winner. But looking at it, it's highly unlikely because Sundowns again has quality both in the bench and quality on the field. So however it goes with the girls that are going for the European tour that are not going to be in the squad, or for the girls that are going to be playing in the COSAFA, they're still going to be balanced because they have depth. Back to you, FN. But yeah, the league at the bottom, at the top, it's done and dusted.
Thanks, man. We're just gonna take a look at the features that are gonna be happening. It's gonna be this weekend, 19th of October, 20. Hollywood Bet. This is the discussion, but this show that you are listening to is Disky Queens, a talk show where I have Tabiso from KZN and Nick from Pretoria and Hleza in Gauteng province, the central hub of everything that is happening in our show. But for now, we're gonna be talking about TX Galaxy versus CityLet and University of Western Cape versus JVW. What a match! What a fixture, guys. I think Hleza is really out. I'm left with Tabiso and Nick. Guys, the first picture, TX Galaxy versus CityLet. I think Tabiso, TX Galaxy, they came so late into the party. They were supposed to spoil many teams and many points in the league. I remember they had games abandoned in terms of not adhering to the league, and the regulation points were sucked from them. But now they're playing against CityLet, which is a little bit steady, and then University of Western Cape up against JU. Can you take us into those two matches, man? Tabiso.
Yeah, offensive. For me, it's going to be a very tough match for CityLet because they're taking on a really good TS Galaxy side. I mean, 27 matches this season for TS Galaxy, 58 points with 18 wins to boast about in the Hollywood Bet Super League. It's going to be very tough, but it's going also to be challenging for TS Galaxy, because remember, CityLet are also just trying to make sure that they are safe from relegation. Because if they are defeated by many goals in the last 3 matches, it means that they still have possibility of them being relegated instead of eliminated. TS Galaxy is a team also that has got a lot of exciting players. They just defeated Thunderbirds by 6-0 for the second time this season. The likes of Nicole Michael scoring twice also in that game against Thunderbirds ladies. You've got the likes of Jacobs, Ten Hart, exciting players in the TS Galaxy squad. And again, it really goes back to the kind of players you have in your squad and really helping you in terms of reaching your goals. And I think for TS Galaxy, finishing in the top 5 is going to really help them in terms of confidence approaching the upcoming season in 2025.
Thanks, man. Tabiso, Nick, your views, and then your views on the coming features over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like everything else, guys, so this is where we're gonna leave you tonight. Like the league will end just not so long ago. But firstly, we're gonna have to sing Amagugu to Thunderbirds and Linelani there at the bottom. Better luck next time. And I think if they wanna come back, man, we wish them very well. I hope they do make it back, especially in the Lali, because they've shown their quality in the last 2 games, and I hope they do and just stay there forever. But we hope they do come back. Back to you, offensive.
So from just say hi, just say goodbye to the viewers at home, man. What a show, what a fest, and I think we had fun today.
Yeah, man, what a episode, our first episode. Yeah, thank you very much to you, Offense, our anchor, to my colleagues, Nick and Hleza, joining us, really unpacking the Hollywood Bet Super League. Looking forward to the next matches and to the viewers stage coming show.
Thanks again. This is how and when we're gonna meet again. This is how we end the show. This Queen. I'm from Rustenburg, all the way from Northwest, and we're gonna see you next time. This is goodbye for me. The Hollywood Bets Unpacked. This is the kind of show that we're gonna talking about women's football around the country and around the world. And then this is goodbye for me. Halala vista ba tle ba re loka puo tse leng gore di farologane. Motho wetso a ke go dumedisa ke gore re bye bye mo tsatsing la gompieno se sapeleng sa bo se tlhola ke re
Amagugu aleliswe ayusale mathumeni. Yeah.